All right. Well, I will do presentation B then, since we're being recorded. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So let me jump into the website here real quick. So what I wanted to go over today is not my Zoom screen. I wanted to go over the site. Okay. So hopefully we put some work on this. Hopefully you guys have seen this. This is a new look of the front page here. So what I wanted to go over today was basically the process of a couple different things on the site, and then we'll kind of go into the back end of the actual project or BD site, and then the back end of the project site, and then the note-taking thing, kind of go over at least those three today on this call, and then kind of go over some of the stuff that we still have out to do to kind of discuss how we want to do this. So obviously on the site, we're going to have, obviously where they can pay and sign up and submit, requests and stuff like that. So there's going to be several types of requests that we are going to get from people, or ways to get revenue and money. The first one is just people looking for an odd job, right? Or just somebody looking for a VA they don't know. They're just going to ask or tell everybody what their request is or what they want, right? They're just going to submit an inquiry, basically a lead. Thank you, bud. For whatever they want. So there's going to be a couple different, we're going to modify, I think, we put everybody on. I don't even know if Karen, if you saw that, I put this on here. I want to kind of demo this, make sure this looks good with you guys, but
yeah, I liked that.
Basically meet a few of our virtual assistants. It'll randomly rotate through everybody here on the screen so that they can kind of see, part of the crew there when they're on there, just to get confidence of how many people are on the site, all the variety, etc., that are available to them if they use the site. So down here at the bottom, we may change how we do this in terms of whether they have to sign in first, kind of, when they say, hey, I'm interested, they basically create a quick free user account, and then it will, be able to get to this form, just so we can prevent, random people that aren't interested or bots or that kind of stuff a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes. But this is basically the form that they're going to submit, and I'm just going to submit one real quick. And so this will just be any general person looking for a lead. So I'll just say, VA request person. That'd be my name. And again, it doesn't have to be a real email. We'll put that in there. They'll put their phone number in there. And then what they're going to do is they're going to pick basically a topic of what they need help with. So let's say they need admin and support, and so we'll get that. I'll put that down there, and then they'll pick if they want something more specific, right? So if they need a records management, or they need let's say task management, or whatever it is, let's say task management, and then they're going to put in here a little bit more about what they want. So I need help typing. Okay, that's kind of dumb, but we'll go with that. And then and Karen, I added this last night, so I don't think
I like that part.
So, and we can do is whatever other options in the fields that we want. So if you guys have done this obviously before with the VA stuff, or we can go look at other forms, we can add whatever kind of information that we would want. So that's the first task, is brainstorm. If there's, we don't want to make it too long that, that they don't want to fill it out, but enough information that you have what you need to match them to the right person. If that makes sense. So, maybe it's a time requirement. Like, I need somebody at the time, maybe one of you guys doesn't want to work that time. That may be a good one, just because of the time difference. I'm not sure. So think about what other fields that we'd want to ask, and then we can add those on here. But for right now, I just have, just so we know, for setup for the account is, hey, this is a one-time project, or I'm looking at a relationship ongoing but as required, or I'm looking for an ongoing recurring requirement, meaning like I have 10 hours of work every week I need somebody to do. So let's go ongoing recurring requirement. This has anticipated or budgeted hours, so maybe it's like 10 hours a week. And then a desired project budget. It doesn't really matter what they throw out for here. This is more of a setup for their back end for their project, if you set it up, just so you know where they're looking at. Let's say $300. Okay. And then they say, I'm not a robot, and then they send the message. So after they send that message, what it's going to do is it'll go into our system, which I'll show you in a second here for the lead system. But then it will send them to this page every time. And again, we can adjust this page. This is just kind of the initial salvo here for this one. So it says, thank you for submitting your request. To help coordinate finding the best VA for your project, please record a quick video detailing or screen share to discuss your issues, needs, or requirements. And then it says, please be sure to share your name and site ID or domain in the video so we can properly route the request. So basically they're gonna, I'll just do a demo here of what I would expect them to do after reading those instructions. So it just says submit video request. And so what it does, it just opens a new tab with a video request from them. Now, obviously, if they don't fill this out, we don't have their words or video on it. But obviously we want them to do that if we can, because what that'll do, again, hopefully, is provide the managers for you guys to know kind of exactly who they want, so you can kind of do the best fit, right, for who you think could do that, or the best fit for a couple different people, depending on, you know, which service level they get or whatever, however we work that. So let's just record a video. I'm going to record my screen instead of my face here. So I'll start recording. It'll ask what screen they want. And now I'm basically recording myself on the screen here. I'll pop over to the back end of our project site. So I want to know how to do this or set up this type. Okay. And then we come back and then we save and send. So it'll basically record that 17 seconds. It'll save that. It'll send it to me. And again, we'll go over the process of how we get that video in a little bit. But basically it goes into a queue there for the video. And I'm going to add in another information there that just say that to go, to come back to this tab, when they're complete. And I'm going to add another button for them to go to their dashboard. Okay. So with further, is there any general questions on the submission piece from anybody, or does that make sense, or any initial comments on that? Okay. So let's go to the back end of the site here. And again, so the managers again will be able to get into this, and we'll put this into the I actually have this in the note app, which I'll show you in a second, but we're going to go to interactions and member leads. You notice that there's a 1 there because I just submitted that lead. And so this is where all the leads are going to come in with all their information. And so this will be the initial step for you to kind of, as leads come in, we'll be able to basically, this will be the inbox, right, for the leads, and be able to match and to clear these out. So there's no pending leads in the system. And so what we'll be able to do is to look at this and, see what their stuff is. Obviously there'll be more content than I need help typing or whatever. We'll get that process for the video on how to get that one and put that in there. And what I recommend doing, at least initial take, is we'll go grab that video URL to see the video, and we'll just write an initial internal note to the member, just so that they know we've got it. That first step of onboarding, just to let them know that they're good. Once they log in the system, we can just say, we received your video or whatever, and then we'll just add the link here, so it saves it for any admin or any user that comes in there, just so we know where the videos are. All right. So that's just we'll have a cut and paste thing. We'll maybe have the notes there that we can paste in there. We shoot your video, and we'll get back with you as soon as we find a match or whatever with the next step, etc. So, and then the link to the video if they did that. So now it's all in here with all their stuff. And then what you basically do is go to actions and match lead. And this is where you go through your team and kind of see who's in the system that you want to match them to. And normally, we talked about this before, the system would do this automatically. Like if they wanted a certain thing with a certain subcategory, it would just go out to all the people, and we can still do this. It'll go out to a certain number of the VAs that are in that particular category. And then they can accept basically that's a job that they're willing to do. And then if they accept it, you would come in here and it would say matched, again, 0 out of 5 or 10 out of 20 or however that would work. And it would come down here, instead of suggested matches, it would be matched members. And it would 5 of these people or 10 or however many we set up would be over here. They'd automatically get the email to their Prime Digital email, and then they could accept or deny. And so in the list here, I'm just going to use, let's see, I'm just going to use, let me use one of you guys on the call here. So if there is one in here, but let me see if I can search here. Yep. Merble, are you on admin? There you go. All right. So I'm just gonna do this one and go over the couple different options. So we can, it's again, there's a pending status, meaning that you kind of assigned it, but they haven't accepted it. And then there's an accepted, meaning they're one of the people that are gonna take the project or work on it, potentially work on it. So so we can match as pending and send a preview email to you, Merble, or we can accept it and send you a preview, and that's a preview email of everything basically other than their contact information. Because normally in the way the system is set up is you can send out the basic information of the job, and then people could pay, the assistants could pay like a nominal fee just so they know they're serious and taking the job to get the contact information for the client is how that's normally set up. Or you can send the complete email and mark as accepted. So I'm going to send mark as accepted and send the complete email. And so what it does is it just opens up to the normal messaging here, and we can adapt any of these templates in here. We received a message from your profile. Here's all the details, whatever. Here's the lead, right? With my phone number and email. So I'm just going to send that real quick. And so they would get that just so we know that we assigned them something in the system. And then after we match them manually in the system, it moves Merble over here to the matched and it's accepted. Okay. And so now if Merble, if you log into your your front end account, it would have that lead accepted in your account basically for you to be able to look at, or you can come back in the back end obviously and do that. So if let me do Mayan's here. Okay, so Mayan, I'm gonna do yours, and I'm just gonna do yours as pending. Okay, and so what would happen on the pending on this one? It says you received a message or time sensitive. Here's a preview, and it basically just goes to just telling you have a request in there, and you'll actually have to go accept it. So I just want to kind of show you what the system does separately on the non-accepted thing. It would basically denote it on the back end here. Instead of accepted, it's just pending. Okay, and then so it's pending. This lead ID is pending from today. And then if you go into the account and change accept it or whatever, it would change from pending to accepted. So it's basically just a tracking system, be able to tell who grabbed the lead, who it's matched to, and then who the computer thinks that should get matched to it. All right. Are there any general questions on the lead matching thing? And then as far as our purposes, I guess for the system here, since we're not really doing necessarily the contacting and the lead management in here for the projects, this is more of a record keeping for the back end to make sure all the leads that have come in through the system have been matched, and that somebody is taking care of that client, from the lead perspective, the lead gathering piece. Is there any questions on the back end here? Obviously, we'll want to play with these. Submit some stuff in there, play with the admin. There's obviously going to be admins and other people, non-admins, right, that are getting the stuff. So we want to make sure that the system works for you as well. And so just ask questions. That's why we have the note system in there too. If you guys want to come up with a system, or if you want to suggest a better way to do that, feel free to do that, but get in there and play with it, on how that works. But this will be the lead generation system from the forums and the BD site and all the directories, because they'll be used to using that from their own site, and we'll get the leads to get the initial contact and figure out who's working with that person. So any questions on the lead piece initially?
None so far.
Okay. So now that we have there's obviously got to be a second step. So I almost want to ask you guys how you guys normally do that, but and we can kind of roll with how we're doing that, or we can just suggest what I think we could do. But now that they're a lead in here, right, we have to do something with them, right? They're looking for some help, and so we've maybe matched them to a person in here, and next we need to kind of figure out, you know, what we're doing, what's the project, how are we working that. So the next step, obviously, is going to be making that project site where you're going to do all the interactions with the team and them, and they'll be able to ask questions and kind of go through the entire project, or submit tasks to you on the daily tasks, or whatever the admin project is, right? So let's go to the back end of here, and let's just pretend like we're logged in as an admin manager here on the back end. Actually, let me, I'm logged in as the super admin here, but that's fine. It'll be the same process for you guys. We're gonna, once you log into the back end of your project site, and I see some of you guys have logged in and added your details in already in the teammate section here, and added your profile image. So that's great. So if looks like Maggie already did that, appreciate that. So if you guys want to come in here and change your profile, so that you're not two initials in a color, you have your photo in here, that'd be great, and then we can kind of get all the profiles filled in. But you guys have access to this, and so as a manager, right now the managers can add the projects in here, and I'm just going to demo how to do that for a particular project. So let's say that test user comes in, right? They paid, or they're interested. And as soon as they go through it and approve and get an account, they're going to want to set up a new project page for them so they can execute. Okay. And I knew I was going to do that. I should have wrote steps down here. And this is why we test this out, to make sure we get all steps. We're missing a step, right? Because that originally one was just an interest. So we don't know if they're going to pay, right? Or want to do a project. We just have to have a meeting with them. So the real question, I think, Karen, I don't know how you want to do this initially. Maybe the way we do this is we set up a meeting with one of us and the whoever the manager is going to be for that particular project.
I think so.
Verbal.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of, the initial first projects here, to make sure we got our process down. And then we kind of go from there, kind of introduce what we can do, what you can do, what they need, or whatever, and kind of go from there. But also, I don't want to delay or have to have a ton of different meetings too. So it almost would be better to have the VA, I don't want to say the VA there, that we're gonna after look, if we know enough from their project on what they want, of who that person is going to be, that they're on the call to. Or maybe just them and not a manager, right? Because we kind of we're going to go over this for the pricing plans, but maybe they don't get your time as the manager, as kind of like a concierge person with the VA, unless they're in a higher tier plan, or they buy more hours, or they're in a higher project plan or whatever, because you guys are extra, right, and have paid extra time to have your time there. So we just want some interaction from you guys on how you guys normally do that, but we need to have a meeting or a process, right, where we kind of figure out really what they need, and then get going. The projects are pretty easy to set up, so maybe we just do that anyway, and then on that first call, we actually go over the project page with them, so that they know how to interact with you guys on the back end of the system anyway. Or we can just record go over it real quick, and then have some training on how to do it on the back end here for them after the call, so we don't waste the time going over the entire system every single time. But what's your guys' initial thoughts, Karen, Merble, Man, anybody else on the team there from that setup? Is that fine? Just like set up a call? What do you guys recommend? What do you guys normally do for that intro piece, or do you just go back and forth on email for that until they agree to want to do something? But over to you guys. I don't know what you guys normally do.
Usually our process, our normal process here is that we have a call,
Okay.
but we can also jump into an email as well. In any case that no one is available, at least someone could at least check their the messages from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's important that we do the meeting with us involved, because it's all about the relationship, right? So example, today I had a client already send me, because we talked about doing a logo package yesterday. So I went to my PayPal today and there's money in there, and he goes, okay, I want to be the first in line for the logo package. So,
Right.
it's the relationship, and, I think one of us has to be there just to introduce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question, so let me just go into the, what do you guys normally use for the meeting stuff? We mentioned that before in the chat there. And I know all you guys are in the independent people work, obviously you have the team, but what do you guys normally use? Otherwise we have something that we can utilize, I think would work. Let me just show you what I've got and then let you guys let me know. But
Well,
so what, oh, go ahead, Kim.
yeah, we usually use Google Meet.
Google
But
Meet.
that's not, yeah, but the not the
Okay.
paid one. So it has a limited people that can join the meeting. But we can also use Zoom as well. But yeah, everything is for free as of the moment.
Okay. Yeah, so what we probably can do then, and this is more of the scheduling piece, vice the actual the vice the Google Meet. And so what we can do is and I don't necessarily want to deep dive on this piece today, but basically anybody can log in and get their own workspace in here to make a sorry, the meeting for a meeting type in here. So but bottom line is everybody can log in and they can have that Google Meet thing, but we can have basically a demo meeting schedule, and this is just on the VAS. It's just test S meeting on the site, but this is on our directory. But where they would be able to pick a time to meet for their particular stuff. And then we would just jump in the room with the Google Meet link on here. And then I would like this one, I'd say confirm. They put their name, email, and site ID or whatever, and then it would book the time, and obviously, and then it would just have that Google Meet, which you guys just talked about, which I anticipated. So, so the real, if this looks fine with you guys, then we can kind of have everybody can have their own meeting thing too. We can actually have it inside of the project page. So this one would actually be your the personal VA's calendar if they needed to meet with them and take time out of their allotment there to talk with you or whatever. And then everybody, we can actually put this on the project page. So it would actually be in the project page on a particular tab. I don't have the demo on this one. I could do that real quick, but we could add a view here and basically add the scheduling thing for their particular VA in the tab here, and they can just book a time with their VA right inside of the system. So does that look okay to you guys in terms of execution? And then what we can do is that I think the biggest thing for this initial calendar, which we can probably put on this thank you page, or work that process. Where am I at here? This one. It would be submit a video request, and then the next part would be that you need to book an initial intro meeting to discuss, and then they just pick a time right from this page, right? So it'll be right below there with the content, and then they just pick a time. So I think the next piece of that is, in order to execute that initial meeting stuff, where we know, because usually it's a pain. It's easy for me and any VA doing it because it's your calendar. If you're available, you're available. But now we kind of have to play the game of it's either me or Karen, and then Merble or Maya, or like however you got, or your manager and the other VA or whatever, and to try to figure out like them just picking times and the times available on the schedule on when everybody is going to be available. So I think we need to have designated block times that you guys are good, that we're good, that everybody is available, and just have their calendar blocked. So for those times when we get a new client, we can have them book in those time frames, in those periodic time frames, and so we know we're good. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to do that.
Yeah, but Ryan, when I tried to create their profile, there was an option their available time, would it be possible that we could sort it out? Let's say a client booked them an appointment, and would it be possible that it will filter those time frame that they are available, which they enter on the profile, on their profile?
That's more of an assignment for the thing. That's not really a tie-in to use, I guess, external. It's not like or like a usable field, if that makes sense, outside the set of the project site. Is I think that's what
I
you're talking
see.
about, right? The project site. So yeah, that would be nice if they had that, but I don't think that's it's not a tieable thing. So yeah, I understand that would be good. That's more of an availability for so we don't overtask, right? Or overassign somebody, where we assign them a big project of 40 hours a week and they're already doing 40 hours a week for somebody else, right?
I am.
So I think doing the block time is in here is the best way to do, because otherwise, even if they put their time in there, doesn't mean that any of you or us are available during their time either. So what, Karen, do you have any thoughts on that, or the initial meeting time thing, how we would do that?
We'd have to block, like you just said. I'm just checking here.
Okay.
Someone made a message. I think we can use Zoom because we can record all the planning call and discovery call.
Oh yeah, that would be a great option as well.
Well, we have other software too that can record it automatically
Yeah.
without doing Zoom. Or without doing Zoom, we can just basically let them in the room to record, kind of thing. And we can have all that stuff. So there's another way around that without using Zoom. We can use Google Meet for that as well. So let's table that one. It's a good question, but I think we can use either one, whichever the individual, whatever we want to use for the team. So I think Google Meet's fine if that's what you guys are using. We can still get those recorded. So that's the first tasker. In fact, I'm going to jump into the note-taking thing here real quick, and we are going to jump into the to-do list here, and I'm gonna add stuff as we go here, show you kind of what we can use this note-taking system for. So we're gonna do onboarding, initial meeting process, and we're gonna do block times. So let's think of the block times that make sense, Karen and team, and everybody else too. For you guys, block times that work best.
15 minutes.
What was that?
And I think they should only be 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minute intervals, right? For the timing.
Yeah.
And so if we block off an hour or whatever, we can technically in theory do four calls in that particular day. So
Yeah.
so days and time, and then we can add additional stuff in here. Let me do.
And then we're gonna have clients that aren't gonna want to go through all this. They're just gonna give us money, and they're just gonna say, get it done. So
Right, but we still need to get the details from them potentially.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So now let's assume that's happened, and now we're going to make a project page for them. So I'm just going to go through here on how to do that for everybody. So let's go back to the projects dashboard here. So assume you're signed in as a manager. We're just going to go to new project. We're just going to add in this will be the webinar demo, not a webinar, but whatever. And then it'll automatically, you're logged in as a manager, it's going to add you in as the initiator. So we don't have to add any teammates, but if we know already the couple of people that are going to work the project or whatever, let's say Maggie's right here. So we're going to add Maggie in there. And then you also want to pick client account because it's a client. And then I just want to note this one in here. It'll have all the clients already in here. We're going to make it so that after the client signs up in the BD system, they'll be added in here automatically as a client. So the client should be already in here. If not, we'll want to add the client first before we go to the project, because what ends up happening if you click the add new client, it just opens up that and you start that and you come back and your project was never saved or created. So so they should already be in here. You can search for the name or whatever, but you can just add them in there. I'm just going to put me as the client. So again, either add them first or they should be in there, pick the client. And then there are project templates in here. We can make our own project templates. This basically comes down to what tasks are already in the to-do item. And so I'll just show you an example here. Let's say they were doing a feature launch. We're launching something on the directory. I'll just pick that. We can add in templates basically that'll have preset tasks. So if we know that they're going to do a branding, execution, and we have certain things that tasks that we want them to add stuff in there, maybe that's already set up in the template. We go branding, and then they log into their thing and they've got tasks. So, hey, what are your colors? What are your whatever? And we can also get that with forms and stuff later. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know there were templates. We don't have to pick one. You can just leave it blank and it'll just be an empty slate when you do that. And then if you know when they want to start or when they would like to be done, you can add those in here again. Otherwise, you can just leave it blank and then just hit create, and then that's it. And so now if they're a client and they've already have an account, they'll be in there. So when they log in, that they now have this project in their account. The creator will have it obviously because you made it, and then if you added teammates in there, they'll be in there as well. So Maggie, if you're logging into yours, you should now have that in your list as well. And so that's it. And then there's two other items in here that we can add in there, and that's why we have it in the initial task. If they had budgeted hours, so let's say that they said 10 was the budgeted hours, and then they had a set budget of $300, right? So we can add those two elements in there. Now we have the budgeted hours, and it has the countdown there of how much is left on what they've either paid for or budgeted, and then an overall budget for their project, so we can kind of track the cost projections and the costs that they've spent up till now just for their our use. And then that's it. Now it's in there. We go to the board. It has the tasks. Here are those set things from that template or whatever that we can edit or whatever, and so those are already in there. Again, if you had normally done it would just be blank. And then you can start working the stuff, and obviously there's a lot of other stuff, different views. You can do add a update report. So this could be maybe like a weekly report back to the user on what the status is for the project, and you can kind of just add tasks or add comments on where you're at with the project, just to kind of keep the project updated. So we want to make sure that we're giving the client a good process there on where we're at if it's taking a little bit of time. This is where you can add files to store between you and the client or the team for the project. And then this is for invoicing here for the client. So and that's kind of a whole nother topic in terms of payment for that stuff on how we're going to work that. But this is just for we're just doing the demo here for somebody that's just doing basically an hourly rate, right? They're just looking for some help and they haven't actually bought a package. So at that point, then there would be a process where we would need to invoice them for that particular time for the week. And so we need to probably come up with a process there where they would invoice on the same time every week, whoever's doing that invoicing. And at that point we can invoice them in the system here as that manager for the time that they've spent for that particular project during the week. And obviously you'd see that in the overview tab of how of the timesheet of how much time was taken. And then if they had already paid right for the hours, then it would be it would then add in and have remaining hours in here, right, that they paid for, and that would already be paid for. Once the hours are up, then it just goes into the normal time, and then we would just bill them for that time if they're out right for that particular month or that particular time frame. So we can go over into that in a little bit here once we get the projects going. But any questions on the project creation, that next step after the meeting, or we could do it before the meeting, because as you see, it took a total of like 15 seconds to make the project for a client. And then we could probably just real quick go over, where it's going to be at. Hey, you should be able to log in here. Let us know if you have any problems. Here's your project, and then go to this training video as we get started. Any questions on the project? Anybody? Again, kind of the same thing on this one. We want people logging in there. We've got, everybody should have that dummy project that was assigned to them. Go in there, make tasks, start moving stuff around. See if you guys have any questions on the use case for that demo directory that's in everybody's account right now, and just kind of play with it and see if they have any questions. Any questions from anybody that's gone in there, or just from that quick demo? Anybody? Okay. Karen, anything from you?
No.
Okay. So that's basically the ongoing project thing, right? For any project, it could be just administrative work that they're doing. It could be a project. So people are either putting in tasks in there for you to do. And then, I guess the next thing would be timing, I guess. I need to go over that real quick. So let's say we're in this project. We're in the demo directory here, whichever one that you're in there. As soon as you start working a particular task or whatever, you can just go into that particular task, and then you can just start the timer on that particular task that you're working. So it'll just run here in the overlay here and record it to that particular task. Again, as you're working it, or if you have just whatever you're working, you can put in attachments right here. You can add subtasks if you need to make notes for yourself on some sub things that you need to do to finish that up. And then you can comment on what they're doing back and forth to the user here. So you can let them know or ask questions, and then you guys are basically just chatting for that particular task. It's recording the time in there for that particular item, and then obviously you can for around and start doing other stuff, and the timer is just working on that particular task. And then you can stop that if you're not working on it, start it, and then once you're done with it, you can just remove it, and then that basically logs the time in there. So now you notice it says 51 seconds of time tracked, and then that'll be in that particular thing, and obviously take it off from their total time. So you'll also, as the admins, we're talking timesheets, we'll be able to see again what everybody did for that particular week, and be able to export it for the managers. And so maybe Merville or Mayan, or we just need to maybe have I think probably whoever we need to talk with the that other meeting that we need to have definitely before we start is kind of the money meeting, how we're going to do that in terms of getting for you guys for the bookings, the initial send off to the company, and then how you guys work that internally with the team. My imagine is that we're going to pay or work the coordination with the team, and then you guys, based on what everybody's actually logging and working for that particular person for the particular week on whatever total projects or whatever, would obviously get paid out at that point from you guys. I'm not sure. We just need to work through that process, because we can obviously get all that time and export it here, and have that available in the timesheets and stuff like that. Or we just have it per project. Again, we've seen to talk about how to smooth flow that one. So we just think about that one. We can coordinate that one if that makes sense. Okay. But those are all in there on the timesheets on that for each particular person, and obviously on the project, right? And if they're going to be billed individually for that project, and then this one would be obviously for the money that's already been paid from the BD system, or for that bulk time, where then people just get paid for what they work on the projects that they work. Because again, if there's a bigger project, it may have somebody doing graphics, somebody maybe doing some time for copywriting, etc. And so, but they've paid one time as a client, right? They're not going to necessarily pay 5 different individual tiny bills for a total project, especially if we're doing bulk hour buys for those people, and they're just kind of paying for services for the entire month. So
And can I
yeah.
also ask who will be making the financial decisions on Prime's behalf? Like how the money gets paid to you?
To me?
No. How do we pay Prime, and where will it go? We need to get that figured out.
Well, that's what I meant for the financial piece.
Yeah.
We need to do all that stuff too. So yeah. So again, you guys may have dealt with that before or have a process that you guys want to do. So we see some input on you guys as well on
Mhm.
how you guys want that coordinated, and then we can kind of work the system to match that makes sense for both of us.
Perfect.
Okay. So so now that's internal with the client, obviously, and you're doing stuff. So now the next piece I want to go over today is the coordination and the behind the scenes stuff or notes, like how we're doing stuff for the team. Okay. And again, everybody should have gotten or at least the manager should have gotten an invite to the directory notes and got in here. It looks like I think Mayan and Merble, I saw that you had edited some stuff or went in, I think, on maybe the team page here with the contact list or whatever. So looks like some of you guys people are in here. I'm going to go over just a few details and then you can let me know if you guys have any questions or if you got in here. So bottom line, what this is basically, it's our team note system. You have your own My Pages that have your own stuff in there, but you also have all these other folders for the team. So it's basically an infinite list of folders. It's kind of like Microsoft OneNote, if you've ever used that before, but it's basically for the entire team. So it has an infinite folder structure. Each one has notes inside of there, stack of notes, and then the actual note page here with stuff here. So there's some other notes here that I was going to go over on the to-do list here for the meeting with that's in there. We have account setup stuff in here. So I just have a demo of an embed for that ACE meetings that we kind of talked about. I just started adding there just so you can kind of see what that demo site look like. I've got the app site in here for the project site. So this has all the stuff that we kind of went over before. I had already sent you guys a link to this one, but you can share all these pages out just so it's that page only, almost like a tutorial or whatever, where you can just do that page for people. But you can set up all these how-tos and processes, right, for the team. So if you have a template or a way to do something or questions, we can answer all that stuff in here. So this is just a tutorial on overview and account setup, right, for that initial VA onboarding for how that project site works. This is what I just added this last night, but this is the process I just went over for adding a project, right? So always search for and add a client before adding the new project, and then you start on with this, and it goes through that entire details of thing that I just went over just now. Okay. So the idea in here is that we do it once, we get a process. If it works, we put it in here, and then the entire team can go in there and find it for themselves. It's kind of like it's both a knowledge base and an internal processes and internal assets as well. Right. Here's the directory courses here. I'll just throw this out there. Merble, I didn't get any email or anything from anybody on who wanted a course account. So we still need to do that if people want the courses, but I have that information in here with a link to the webinar to sign up for that course and the quick demo there. And then for the courses, we've got that directory drop, which we had sent there. If people need to drop huge files to the team, instead of emailing it or whatever, it's got that up to 20 gigabyte Dropbox for the team to pass us files over to us if you're making videos or anything else for us to put on the website or for the team. And there's the Dropbox info. And then here's the main site info. We'll start adding stuff in here that people have questions on. So here's that lead process that I just went over and how to match a lead with that member contact form, and has all the BD help section here for how that lead matching works. And that's exactly what I kind of went over there today. Okay. We also can put in again, we can structure this however we want. I just added a digital assets one last night to the directory VA one, so it has all of our logos in here. So if anybody needs to use those for any media purposes or adding stuff in there, you can just quickly download that as well. So we can add a bunch of other stuff in there. So that's just the digital assets. You guys can add yours in here if you want as well. I've got the emails one in here. We're going to need to do, this was on the to-do list. We're going to need to do some email copywriting, both for marketing and for internal purposes or whatever. So these are the three that we're just going to have to do. The a la carte, this is the, they just signed up after the purchase. They just signed up with an a la carte, kind of the next step or whatever. We're going to want to send an email if they buy a bulk hour purchase, like let's say they buy 20 hours a month, from the team, then we send them an email, transactional email on the next steps, etc. Remind them of the meeting. If they hadn't booked a meeting, we'll have the link to the meeting in there, that kind of thing. And then same thing for the pre-priced things. If they buy a particular item or whatever, we're going to send them emails. So we'll have all the emails in here too that we'll start to stack up and kind of look through, and we can use for different systems. So just of emails of record, basically, so we can kind of use that stuff. And then I just added an onboarding one in here too, just because we're going to have a lot of stuff for onboarding processes, content or whatever. So that's just that. I also added a section in here for projects. So just like those other things that we can embed the project, we can actually embed a wiki kind of thing in there for a particular client notes. Like, so if you want to add in client notes in here, and because we can clone stuff in here, maybe this is client A, B, C, D for this demo directory, you can actually grab that page and embed this wiki page inside of their project page, right, as another tab in their project. So we can kind of get Gucci with that and make some cool stuff in here. If you wanted to have if any VA wanted to make a templated structure of their notes or processes or whatever for a particular job, this could also be stuff where they add notes in there, I think, as well, like to answer some questions for project 2. So we can do a lot of stuff with that. I just want to kind of demo that, and so we can have a project in here, per account. We can just make a new project page for that particular user. I have a sandbox in here to try it out. So when you guys are in here, just go in here, go crazy, don't worry about messing up the structure or what you're doing on pages or whatever. There's a sandbox. And so here's an example of one. This could be Mayan's morning routine, right? And you can add all your stuff in here with a motivational thing in there, just to kind of go through on what you did for the day, or a particular client or whatever. So you can go to town and play in the sandbox. And then I have one in here for the teams. We've basically got a team folder for every team. And the one of the to-do items that I had on here, and I'd like Karen and I are working the stuff too, but we want your input as well on the pre-priced services for each particular team. If there's definitely a top 5 that you guys are ready to rock and roll with, that we want to intro initially, and we need to kind of work that and the pricing for those pre-priced services. Let's go ahead and add those in, those for the pre-priced services for every particular team here. And that's the only one I've got in there for each one. But as you can see, you can add in subfolders under that. So let's say the social media one is in there. We've got a Facebook folder, right? And so that could be Facebook processes, like, hey, how do we do this? What are the formats for all the different clients? What are some templates or whatever with the Canva link to the actual template to do that design? Well, that's probably multimedia, I guess, for design as opposed to the actual posting, but you guys get the point, right? This is basically anything that you need for the team or for us to not have to do work again, right? Where this is where we're doing the pre-priced thing at $60, and we're spending $5 worth of time to do it because it's literally right there. We go do that. We go through the process on the template, check. We do it, post it for the team, done. We did it in 5 minutes, and we get charged $60 because our efficiency is making up for the time they would have normally spent as a client to do that, and then we can charge accordingly and make everybody that much more money. So it's just trying to make us more efficient. And you guys can add as much stuff as you want. You can tag things in there, and there's a whole bunch of help things that we're going to add in here on other stuff that you can do, and I think it's going to be really versatile, and you guys are going to love it once you start to do stuff in here and you add favorites and you start adding content in there, and it's basically going to explode the team's capabilities together by adding information and resources for the team.
Oh, okay, so I see the chat. Can you go to the chat?
Yep. And so if anybody's logged in, you can go ahead and do that. So basically, it's just a chat room on there,
Okay.
inside of the actual system.
Perfect.
And then you can direct message somebody specifically, right? So I'll send one to Merble.
Yeah, Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah.
For each of the folder per teams, would there be an option to lock their folders, but the admins like us or the teams said team manager would be able to still access that. But for the members, let's say for our members or for the other team, will it be would be there an option to lock their specific folder? Because um as you know, this is for clients per clients, right?
No. This is for our team only.
Oh, for our team, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the only way you're gonna pull a page off is like, let's say you want to do this one and you wanted to share.
Mhm.
We would basically we would grab the I'm sorry, the share page. We can
Uh-huh.
protect it with a password, right, on the page
Mm.
if we wanted to external. Otherwise, let me just show you this real quick. So let's do that. Let me go to that project page, since I didn't really demo this one, but this is how it would work. So we go to that John Doe page. We've got that client notes, and then we're going to share that page with their project. So we're going to copy that link, and we're going to go into that project here, and we're going to go to the demo directory here, sandbox, and we're going to add a view, and we're going to we're going to embed a URL. We're going to put that in there, and this would be your client notes, right, or whatever that is. And we're going to add that view. And so now that's in their project, and it has our directory VA client notes from our system there. And it's just going to load that page specifically. They don't have access to anything else from our directory notes, but it's in there for their project, and it's just in there in one of the pull downs for client notes. Okay, so it's really easy, and it's versatile. And then for them though, it's read only for them because you're just showing it to them. So I think it's how I have
Right.
it set. But
Got that.
okay, so it's that simple. But
All right.
it's not open to them.
I see. I see. Thank you.
No, that was a good question. And we can embed this in you know, they're somewhere in BD too if we needed to, right? If we wanted to. So, or we can share it to them, and we can say, hey, here's we could post it to their we don't want to share it necessarily on Facebook. We could. But you guys get the point. Any other questions on that?
I think we all have to get around, like, into this and play with it, and then we'll understand it, right?
Yep, and everybody should have access. One of the things that I was going to talk to you guys about, obviously there's a lot more people on the, actually that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, so I'll do that as I transition over back to the site. For the particular backend for a particular user, we'll just log in as Adrian here. How much we kind of want to go over the profile page to make sure that we're showing what you guys want to show in terms of the interaction capability or for them. So here's an example of the leads. It has a this is what the leads would show up like as a VA member if they they log into their account in the back end. They'd be able to see the the lead. And then be able to manually say, yeah, that looks like something I can do, and accept the lead here or decline it, just so you know as a manager that they don't really want to do that. So that's that process I was talking about earlier. But the bottom line for profiles, I want to make sure that we're showing the information that you wanted in there for them, and that we have that either opened up or locked down as appropriate to the particular person, because the way it's set up is that they could actually send a VA request to that particular person directly after looking at the profile. Looks like that's the perfect person for them. They can actually send that lead, and it'll still go into the same system directly, but we could actually automatically send that to them instead of having to you guys manually provide it to them after the fact, if that makes sense. So that's also in there directly. Otherwise, they can do it on the side here. It's basically the same form, but they can say get replies from more members, and then again, that would automatically go to additional people if you wanted. Automatically, it would go to her and to anybody else. up to the amount that we said, hey, send it to 10 people or whatever, it would go to all those other VAs directly to either accept or deny that request. And then we would go through that same process, as normal for them to set up a project and talk and all that other stuff. But so that's one thing. I just want to make sure that we have this set up. So that's the other kind of to-do thing of all of this stuff on there. Like, what do you want? What do you not want on there? We're fine as having as much information control as they have to meet with the VA. We'll just do the same system on our end to connect them, but also make sure you guys are comfortable and that we're showing the right stuff on the front end here for everybody on here as well. And then what was the question? I went over as like, hey, I want to talk about what was I initiating that conversation for? I don't think I covered that topic. You remember? What was the question?
I forgot the question, but I have another question.
Okay.
On the earlier topic.
Yep.
You showed us about the calendar. Would it be integrated to a Google Calendar as well?
Yeah, yes. So let me just log in. So the way that's set up in the setting, a second here, types. So it goes through there. You say what kind of meeting you want. If you have to obviously set up Zoom and integrate that, otherwise it just does the Google Meet. But you put it in there. You put in your availability for that particular meeting, and then set up all the notifications, stuff like that. That's for the particular meeting of your availability for for that particular when you want them to be able to have that. And then the actual calendar. It does connect to your calendar. So in the settings, you can have unlimited calendars in here. And then for right now, the system just has the Microsoft and Google. And then they're working on the iCloud calendar and Outlook calendar as well. That's coming soon, but this just Google and Office 365 right now. But that hooks to the individual's calendar. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else. I know that was a lot of stuff, but that's kind of the walkthrough. So that kind of was the I guess the initial pick of something. So let me go into the page here for the demo services. We're still working all these still working all these. I just can't remember the URL here of my demo page here, but we'll go into that. So next thing I want to go over is basically people buying the individual services. So the pre-priced items. So let's look like Karen, you've been busy there.
Well, I haven't did anything to them yet. I sent you the banners.
It's a facade. Okay.
It's a facade. I sent you the banners so you could see them because I know. And then
so okay, yeah, I'll take a look at them. So here's the page for the multimedia services. So these are going to be in widgets, and we'll add these to the particular page. But this kind of goes into those 5 initial services we want to start out with that we can definitely do and knock out of the park right away. And it'll be on here. We'll have them categorized within that particular category. So let's say it's multimedia. That's one of those 10 big arching category services thing, right? So under multimedia, these are almost like these aren't necessarily the categories but pretty similar, right? Where it's basically like logo design or Facebook covers or whatever. We'll make the categories here, but all the pre-priced things will be in here that the VAs can go ahead and execute. So let's say I want social media. Oops, looks like there's nothing there. Oh, logos. Here's 3 logo options. Again, pay no attention to these things. These are just kind of demos, but so they'll be able to pick from here, and then they'll be able to order that particular service. And again, this isn't linked up directly either, but there'll be a page that'll be made specifically for that particular item to describe what it is that we do that. And this kind of gets down to the standardization of processes too, and what products the team's putting out. Like when we say they're doing, I'll just use this as an example. If you're going to do a graphic design for a Facebook or a hero banner for their directory, right? That big wide image. What file type are we giving them? How are we delivering that? Are we giving them 2 designs to pick from or just one? How, all that stuff we want to kind of, and again, I don't know how you guys normally do that about making sure the quality processor, but we want to have that set up. Again, it's going to be a little bit hit or miss at first, not hit or miss, but you know what I'm saying? Unstructured at first, probably, but we want to get to the point where we're doing the same processes. We're giving them the same, maybe different designer, different graphics, different look, but the process, the delivery is the same, right? For the team. And that's what we put in the notes and kind of put on here. But anyway, there'll be a page for additional information on what they're going to get or the process, or maybe them to fill in the form, kind of more information before they buy it, or they'll just be an order now button here. And so that order now button basically will take them to that project page that has the has that service in there for that particular client. And then they'll just log in with their username and password, the same one that they have on the directory, to sign in to buy that particular project, right? And so I'll just sign in with that demo. Oh, it looks like it's the wrong. Anyway, you get the point. They'll sign in and then they'll buy it. And then what'll happen is after they buy it, here, let me see if I can sign in here real quick. Okay, that one worked. After they are logged in to buy it, it's the same one that'll be in the services here, the same type of purchasing that'll be in here. Those will be synced up here. This one, they'll just be able to buy it from their particular site. But this one, for example, is just from that initial page from the directory. And so they'll just basically buy it from there. And then once they buy it, it'll just go to, I'm already logged in. Yeah. So if they're already logged in, it'll just be here. It'll just come here, like from that page. I'm sorry. I thought I had to log in, but it was already logged in from before. So, so they'll click on that, buy now, and then it'll just say complete checkout here. And then once I do that, it's going to then either charge me, or create an invoice there. And we don't have it set up right now, but it just, it has the invoice that they would have, presented in there. Okay. And so now that somebody bought that, we'll go back to the system here. Let me find it. We got too many of the same logos here. There we go. This one. So if we go to the dashboard now, we have we'll have a new order. We'll have came in for that particular project for that particular item here. And so I forget which one I'm signed in as. I'll need to work on this for the demo here on where that comes in. I apologize. Second here. Oh yeah, here we go. No, that's the services here. Oh, there we go. I think it's that one. No, let's see, project task. I need to look at that. I apologize. I wasn't going to demo that one. I know it comes up in here as a thing. I just need to figure out. Maybe I just didn't turn it on, but anyway, it'll come up in here as a request or a new task project for us to work. And maybe it's just in a. I think it's in a as a client or service or something. It comes in as a particular project. I think it comes in as a workbox or whatever. Anyway, I'll figure out what it's at, and we'll do another demo on that one. But bottom line is that would be the process for them buying an individual item, and then we can just task it to the appropriate person when that project comes in. But that's an easy thing where they're just logged in already, and then they just pay for that particular service, and it just goes straight away into their particular account.
Okay, we have two questions regarding with the directory courses. Can we send a list of emails of possible instructors once we launch our directory VA site instead? That was from Verbal.
You want to jump in on the audio on that one? What do you mean by that? So like we can invite anybody whenever we want. So if that's your question, we don't have to do it now. We can do it later. If that was the question.
And then the other question is, can we create SOPs per service? This would be in line with what you said regarding how many revisions should be made. What will the process be when clients avail the service and other things related?
So you want to have different pricing for different revision amounts, like different options? Is that what you're asking?
That was from Maggie.
The question would be about the standard operating procedures on maybe a limit on how many revisions we should take, and
yeah, we can
just
put that
like
in
a
the like
workflow.
in the services, for example. Let's do profile badge with images. Let's do this one. There's we can add what's called, they're called service offerings by default in here for the particular thing. And so that's part of the thing that we want to maybe, I guess, an addendum to the not only the 5 services, but what you guys would normally do for that particular service process wise, like up to 5 things is what we can add. So it's not only like what they get, but what what it is. So they get 3 images, 2 badges, up to 3 revisions or whatever. So just basically like a feature of that particular item, and we just put that in here for that particular price. That's what they're going to get out of the the expectations, and we can put additional info in the description or whatever. But that is that kind of what you're talking about. You would just put in whatever that anticipated thing is or whatever the process is there, so they know how many they're getting. But yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yep. And what I'll add these in there too for the note section too. For all these services are going to have their own individual URL, right? So we can, if you're sending somebody, in a correspondence where they're like, hey, just here's the thing to go ahead and purchase that one, or they can do it on their back end if they want as well. Or if we're just posting something somewhere online, like, hey, here we have a special on this service this month, here's the link, go buy your Facebook profile half off, right? If we're going to reduce the rate for this month and or whatever, and we can just send them that link. They could either I'm already logged in, right? And it knows that I'm logged in. They won't have to ever if they're using the cookie off of the thing, they're just logged in as a client, and then they just literally just hit complete checkout and buy that new service. So that's really convenient. But each one of these will have their own link there for the service, and then we'll put all those in the note page as well, so everybody has them. But it's really simple to have them set up or whatever in there once they're kind of logged in. And again, it's gonna auto create that for them through we're gonna hook up Pabbly or Zapier there, I think, to auto create that from them after they sign up for the BD account. It'll automatically make their VA account in the back end for the projects. So before I forget, I'm going to add that to my to-do list because I have to get that kid done. So and then let's see, that is the Zapier BD2 project. And then one other thing I want to talk to you guys about, because a lot of the copy 4 pages are about like everybody's interview process, or like or we have professional people, everybody, every one of our VAs has a doctorate degree or whatever. If you guys have some because I know you guys are hiring people and stuff like that and do stuff all the time, and you have certifications and training. If you guys want to give us some content there to add to copy for the BD pages that we're doing, like for the team page about how you guys do training, that we're all vetted, or, you know, whatever that, like confidence boosters, I guess is what I would call it, on your process, or how you guys do that, or everybody's you know, everybody's professional, or we ensure that they have X amount of training, or we do certification things once a month to make sure we're at the top of the industry standards, whatever that would be, right? Get your copywriters on the team there to create something awesome. But that we'd like something from you guys if you can on what you guys, any other stuff that you guys do normally, or for that kind of thing to be able to put onto the website, if that makes sense. Because most of those other places have that. And again, I'm just, I only know from our few interactions here what you guys do. I don't know what you guys do. So.
Okay, so Princess just added that we should add fields for time zone, target start date, and number of VAs needed. And then the other one I thought of is if someone wants to request a VA, if they've used a VA in the past or they've seen a VA's work, they should be able to request a VA.
Okay, so all right, so roll past those. So like specific
Time zone.
VA
Yeah.
name request. I got that. Time zone.
Yep.
Time
Target
zone.
start date
Target start date.
and number of VAs needed.
Okay.
Those are the 4.
Now, let's think about some of these too. On a lot of this stuff is not necessarily project setup that we're going to have to get from them at the initial call anyway. So this is more of the, well, I guess that would be a matching thing, I think, for the VA, definitely for time zone. If they want a specific VA, okay, and then start date, and okay, yeah, I guess all of these would be to match to the right person. Number of VAs, maybe not. Well, I guess so, because if you're going to get a bunch of people, yeah, all right, all good. I like it. So let's do. I'm just going to demo one here real quick to show you guys how easy it is inside of BD. Just as a bonus thing, just for not necessarily for the coders, but anybody that's going to eventually work stuff in here. But so target start date, we'll just go ahead and add that one in there. We're going to go to the form manager in the back here, and it's called the get matched form is what this is in the system. And I just want to kind of do these once in a while too, to kind of show you guys how versatile and nice the system is. But here's our form. I'm just going to go edit that form. And it's going to give me a preview on the right and then the form to edit on the left. And so I'm just going to add this down in the extra question section. Maybe the right after the request type. So I'm just going to scroll down here. We'll get to the request type here. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and add a field after that. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a date field.
I have a question, Ryan. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So if it's like a one-time project, can they choose how many VAs they would want, or is it like automatic that they can only choose one VA per project? Or like, because there are different request types there, one-time project, ongoing, more of probably a full, long-term project perhaps. So I'd like to know if they can probably choose regarding the pricing per VA, or if there are 2 VAs, it's going to be a different pricing as well, even though it's like a one-time project only.
Yeah, so I'll answer that in a second. So I just put the date picker, anticipated start date, and a start date as a variable, and then we can make it required as well. We don't want them to not submit it because we don't have information, so we won't make it required. And so we'll just hit save changes there, and then I'm going to go back to the home page here, and you'll see that just by saving that, we added the date on there. Now we have that new item in the form. And so I need to put on the start date and the little pre-wording here, but now basically they have they can just add in that particular the date. Okay. So your question is, I think if they're not doing, and this is part of the reason why we're not doing it. I think on here we're gonna have a funnel thing where they can pick whether they're going to get a package. And then if they buy the package, then it'll come to the form later. But I think to answer your question is if it's a la carte and they're just doing it per hourly fee, we're basically trying to incentivize them to be cheaper the more hours that they get. So if they're just doing a la carte and they want 3 people, but they just want to pay an hourly rate, then it is what it is. They're just going to pay that full hourly rate for those 3 people on whatever hours those 3 people work at that rate. And then they is that kind of your question? Or are you asking like, do they get a discount because they're using 3 people? Or I think the way we're going to do it is that if they get a discount if they prepay, like that, like, hey, we're going to do or commit like 10 hours a month, 20 hours a month, whatever it is, then they get a discount at that point. Or the other way we can do that is if you want multiple, and this may be the way we want to do it. If you want multiple people, who at least know that, but then you don't get multiple people unless you have a monthly commitment of hours. And then that's one of the added benefits of being in a higher package. And I think, Karen, I think that's what we had talked about as being a thing, that they have to be at a higher like monthly commitment package to get multiple people.
Yes.
I don't know. Does that make better sense to you guys, or what do you guys think on that?
So an example would be your social media. Your social media packages were really priced high that you had sent me originally because you were using Teams to do social media. Most of our clients won't want a team. They'll want one designated VA for that. So that just gives you an example.
Yeah,
Alright.
I mean, unless you only do it by team. I mean, we just need to have that conversation about, what your normal processes are, what you would like to do or want to do or whatever, and we can adjust fires on that. But what are your thoughts on that? I don't know who asked the question. Was that Mayan? I wasn't looking at the.
Yep. Because basically I'm working with a VA agency. So what we're doing there is, say they're looking for a social media manager, automatically they would be designated to just one VA if they get the offer for like a full-time VA probably, or a part-time VA only. So there's a specific pricing for each of them. And because for each VA they have different hourly rates, so I think that's going to be one of the things we need to consider as well if you're looking at multiple VAs that they would want to work with for a specific project perhaps, or we like automatically for that individual project, we don't need to ask how many VAs they would need. Like automatic, it's gonna be one VA only, like that.
Yeah, I think having an automatic one VA, unless they're on a particular higher project that has that built in to that level, makes more sense, just like you said. But that's something that we want to. So that next meeting that we talked that financial piece and all the nugging work of that, I think that we need to come to the table with that ready to go and have that discussion on how that's working and clarify all that stuff. Definitely.
And we need that discussion like Monday morning if we're going to launch on the 25th, even if it's a soft launch.
Yep. So so let us know when that next but I don't know, where was that 25th day coming from anyway? We can probably push it out a little bit. I don't know what.
Yeah, we can put, yeah.
I don't know where that was coming from.
Someone just speculated that at one time we'd be ready on the 25th. We can move it one more week and
You just do
still,
it in the month.
yeah, and we can still assign work during the week because I do have work coming in.
Yeah, I mean, we have some flexibility on that. Obviously, it's not like
Yeah.
nothing's gonna happen if we didn't nail everything down on that, but yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Marble?
Yeah, for us to be ready, I think we can also move at least 1 week.
1 week? Okay, perfect. Okay.
So if you guys come here, obviously all of these are they're not linked up. These will all be linked up to the appropriate pages. So the way we're gonna do this is we have a page with the full list of services here. It's just scrolling through, just doesn't take up the entire page here. on here. If you come to this page, it has all the different categories as well as all the sub breakdowns for particular categories. Specifically down here if they were looking at for something specific. But these are all the categories, and then all the category pages are going to go to a sub page basically with an overview of that, counting item or whatever. If I'll just throw this out there too, if you guys have some explanation copy for each particular or any particular thing or whatever that you guys want on the site too, you can throw that over for the copywriting piece, kind of like an intro of what that is or what they can do for you kind of stuff. And we're just going to have basically a page per item. And then each one's going to have both those three things. It's going to have the breakdown of the individual purchase ones, like I showed you there with the little filtered thing for the individual items. And then there'll be a package pricing where they can just say, they're not going to buy a pre-priced one. They just want an a la carte hourly admin support, or they want to buy a bulk hourly package or whatever. And so there'll be those three options basically. A la carte, we'll get your info, and then we're gonna bill you for what we need. The package where they're gonna prepay for a certain amount, and then we set up their profile, or they buy the individual service and then they pay for that first.
I think the one good thing is if we do it, if we can get, there's 10 categories, right? So if we can get one of the managers of each area, of each of those 10 categories, to write 2 paragraphs. So just 2 paragraphs on what they think they'll offer in the paragraph and why people should purchase from them. Always go back to the why, right? Why they should purchase from Directory VA. If they could do that and submit that, that would be great, because
by submit, I am throwing out that you want to put it into your note, put it into your note section.
Yes.
Is what I would do.
Yeah. So that way we can see. Yeah, we want to start, and so
just into your particular team, just make a new folder here. There's the pre-priced services.
Right.
We can just add the overview copy. So I'll just put on here. Just put it right in there.
Right.
Just make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah. And like maybe what type of services you can see us offering, going right out of the gate, based in those 10 categories.
Yeah, that would be the pre-priced one.
Yep, that would be like greatly appreciative. The other thing is, like, we did the one logo contest, and I liked doing that because, so now with our logo package, we already had somebody who saw it, that I showed it to a client, and they said, oh, I want to purchase that.
And we'll have that on the page as well. So when we have the so let me go back to the marketing piece here. Let's see, multimedia services. So for example, once we make the pages for those individual services, and we'll just use the logo one for example. I don't have that up here. Well, actually, I'll put forget who won that contest. We'll put the logo contest or here.
Yeah, I sent you all of it with the.
Okay, yeah, I've got it. I just need to put it up here. So this will be like the logo design or whatever, right? And so when we go, they'll see an example here. But if when they go to learn more and go to that page for the logo design, and we kind of detail what they're going to do, we'll have example logos on that page, right? So they can just see it and go, wow, we get this for that price, and here's the examples of what we could get. Like, yes, it kind of comes down to the standardization thing too, right? A little bit, because although we want to make sure that, if they buy it through one person, they get like a little tiny logo, and then the other person, they get an entire package. You're like, well, no, it's
got to be a packet. So for the logo, we want to come out at like a $60 package, because it's a really good calling card, and we have a really good Natalie did a really great job on it. So I think maybe I'll do another contest with another logo.
But anyway, you guys get the point,
few.
right? There's gonna be a page with the content and examples or whatever. And so the whole idea here is they just get inspired by, oh, wow, that's great. I want to learn more about that. Or they see a bunch of examples of that stuff, and then they're just like, boom, I want that. And it's all about presenting, because a lot of if we go to any other VA site, and you guys know this because you probably use other sites, there's no it's like a form like, hey, get a VA, or like have them do stuff like it does. There's no pull or whatever. People will be able to come here, easily see it, and it'll just really enhance the purchase flow through process when they can see all that stuff in the data or whatever, instead of just a static page of like, hey, get our VA and you'll make money. Like it doesn't, it will be able to get a lot more throughput for this, and hopefully you guys agree. But in order to do that, that's why we're doing the contest. We need content. We need that written up. So when we start rolling out all these services and making additional pages, it's just going to be this huge marketplace of stuff, and we'll have our processes down. We'll be able to do it in a timely fashion with a really good product, and you guys are going to make more money, and same for us. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of what we're trying to get at and execute. So I know we went over like 20 bajillion things on the call there. So I think we have plenty to do and look through and thumb through and add detail to, and for both for you guys for providing content, getting in there, and then us for building out the pages here and using what you've got to get ready for the launch. Do you guys have any other than that money meeting financial thing we need to have as soon as we can?
Yeah, Mayanne has the lead generation to show us.
Well, actually, sorry, Maggie, what was that that you mentioned earlier? Let me take a look.
Okay.
That is just she mentioned that this is a final proposal thing. Let me check if I can pull up.
Yeah.
They just send the link, Maggie, to our
and Maggie, let me
PC.
answer this back to for your SOPs thing. I kind of mentioned those couple of linear things for that particular item. But if we want to have, again, we'll create in the notes section there for all those products, right? In each section, for multimedia or whatever, we can make a products tab under there with all the information. And if you want to add in SOPs and other information for whatever that service is, that's the kind of stuff that we can have, not just a bullet, like we can actually put that content on that page right here on the explanation thing. That thing I showed you there was just basically for the checkout page to remind them what they get. But if we want to have more detail about what they get, or the processes of how you do it, or what they're going to expect, that's the kind of information we can add onto this particular page as well. So I'll just throw that out there for each team as well, that we maybe just have a new subfolder for product or products for each one. And then in that folder, then we can add additional pages for, I'm just going to do this on the accounting finance or whatever. So let's say this is I'm just going to make something up here, budget analysis. I don't know. So let's say that is that item. This can be all of the data for that particular item, whether it be description, ROEs, SOPs, make them go crazy on your stuff or whatever. But we can have let's just make a products page for each one of these items. And then we can add those in there with all that data, and we'll use that to make the pages as well. Does that make sense to everybody? I think that's the best way to do that.
So I'm going to share my screen for a sec, Ryan, so you have to stop. Share, and then we'll go. So this is the start, I guess, of the freebie ideas for Directory VA. So free 15-minute consult with our experts. Client schedules a consult about what they really need in their business. A prime expert will help them determine their needs. Instead of putting prime, please put Directory VA in there. And there's several reasons, because other people are using that word prime right now. After that, they can either choose one. They will work with.
They're actually getting sued by Amazon, actually.
Yeah, they are. If you use the word prime right now, you're being sued by Amazon if you're found.
So it's just a US thing, but
All right.
And they will not continue with their journey. Okay. And then,
And that's kind of, scroll back up there. And so that's kind of what we kind of went over there, I guess, right? There's some in the forum, they get that consult. And then, yeah, perfect.
okay. And then this is this one. Free social media. I know, utilize email marketing. We will send them valuable emails, not spam. Perfect.
Okay. And
Any
what's
questions
the
here?
templates though? I guess we'll be sending them the freebie. Okay. So you're going to have a couple, not generic freebies, but like just something for them to, so it's basically the lead magnet where they get the social media stuff. So real quick on that though, I think we're going to, we got to work the social media piece there for the team, you know, where we have everybody who signs up will get into that system for the social media so we can do all the email marketing and stuff like that. And we'll set that up as well. And then one thing I didn't go over, Karen, I sent this to you, but we'll have the setup for that the new chat and email system. So you'll be able to get in there and see client requests for help or chat or support stuff at the support VA stuff. So you can dole out that to the people there too. So or you can send an email from the actual team themselves, and everybody can, the managers will be able to do that. So that's for another meeting, but we'll be able to do the chat and email thing from directory VA from the team. So any of us can do that. So it's just not like me doing it or Karen or whatever. The whole team can do that unified inbox. So I just want to throw that out there. We can go over that at a later point.
So guides, workbooks, Notion templates, and resource lists. Perfect.
Yeah,
I
and
have, yeah, a lot of templates.
yeah, the biggest thing on these though, that you always want to lead it into something that we offer, right? So when you're suggesting, you know, do you you know, launching a Facebook or a social media you know, campaign or whatever, you know, to create your Facebook group or whatever, and then like, do you have a logo you know, for your thing? We, you know, get, and then it's got a link on there like get a professionally designed you know, Facebook cover page or whatever, and then that links to that particular page on our VA site where they can buy it, right? So so any of those that we do, that's the kind of integration that you'd want those to have.
So Karen, Ryan, you're good with the proposal of Maggie, or do you have any other suggestions or other offers that you would like to add for this proposal?
I think a really good one that we can do is we can do a contest for an ebook. So yeah, so we'll do a contest for an ebook because I think we'll get a huge response, and we'll get a lot of emails collected. So you know, an ebook is a little bit more money, but going out of the gate, that could be one of our like grand prizes. You know, get a customized ebook.
Or yeah, the other, basically it's anything that you, bottom line, and it's going to be kind of up to you guys too, is that what's the lowest hanging fruit that you can knock out basically with a something that's already templated, right? That doesn't cost you a lot. I mean, obviously she just mentioned ebook, that'd be like a big item, but that we can, you know, compensate the team back you know, for or whatever to do those promotions. But like any of those small things that each team can do, that's really really simple. It could just be a you know,
A social media calendar.
a calendar. Oh, but I'm just saying creation wise, like if it's any of those things, like if they're looking for a, you know, a the financial thing, if they're like they just want to, maybe it's like just not an ebook, it's literally like a checklist, like you're saying here, of the top 10 things, financial things to prepare for launching a business. It's just 1 through 10, and you put it on a page with a border, like something
Mhm.
that has good content, but it's really quick to make. Or like, you know, like the social media thing, like we'll just give you a generic example for your business. Let's say we're launching a Black Friday deal or whatever, something that's already made on any of those sites, and you just literally just go Black Friday and download, and you didn't do anything. And it's just a graphic that maybe they don't have the systems, they didn't know you could do it that easy, and they just have a Black Friday thing that they can use. So it's just whatever your team is for each of those 10 aspects of the small things that you guys can just crank out either on demand real fast, or just prepare ahead of time now, real easy and real fast and real cheap, that anybody can use, like white label, private label rights, you know, like white label, or just something that's easy and fast to do. Then you just do it once, and now it's available to anybody who signs up for that particular freebie. So and we have some capability to add those you know, those the downloads for those things for getting into that email system or whatever too, separate, that we can set up once we have the resources as well. So I think it just comes down to what you guys are willing to do, and to make, we get those done ahead of time, and then we're done, right? And then we can start using those for the lead magnets. But I think initially, the just getting people in the door of that free consultation to see what a VA is about is going to get that initial trickle that we need from people before we even have to start doing the toss outs, you know, of freebies. Do you guys have a process you guys normally do for lead magnets, or no? Because otherwise, like I said, we can have a lot of software and stuff we can set up to do that. It kind of depends on what email marketing thing we're using too, because obviously not everything ties into that as well. So it's all a dangerous web of integrations, always.
Maggie, do you have any?
So currently what I do, the process I do from the lead magnet to the email marketing funnel is that from the social media platform, of course they'll be enticed or attracted by the lead magnet. Then after that, they will be transferred to a landing page wherein they'll be signing in to subscribe to the email list. And then from that, we will what I do is that I send out nurturing emails from the ones who subscribe. So from the lead magnet, what the strategy that I do there is that I make sure that it is really needed by the target market. So really um uh we can't attract everyone at once with one lead magnet. So maybe we can opt for one group of people and focus the lead magnet on them for a while. For example, we'll be attracting financiers or social media managers, or maybe product based businesses. What do they need? And then from their needs we may create a lead magnet from that, so it's easier and more concrete.
Yeah, but are you talking Facebook advertising at this point? Is that what you're kind of talking about, or they pull them into a lead thing, or where? I mean, we can do that. Otherwise, we can just set up you know, that lead like a splash page on the actual site. We can actually do sidebar ads inside of the directory as well. So we can always set those up on the sidebars of let me just kind of show you on the site, but we can set up as many as we want on the sidebars here to do our own lead magnets on our own pages, right? So normally let's just pretend this is a sidebar right here. It'd have the main content over here and then the sidebar. Actually, I'll just go to the blog, so this will show you that. But so we can put our own lead magnet content on here as they're browsing around the site, and then they would just go from there to the landing page. See, this one has join our newsletter, but you would have the same thing where it would have the graphic, right? Targeting a particular audience, or we could have several or whatever, and it would go to you know, that sign up page right from inside of our own thing. So that's kind of the lead magnet thing we can do within our own thing. We just need a graphic, and then the page and the process and the ebook send and all that stuff or whatever. So Do you guys normally have a process you do for sending out the lead magnets, or do we just need to add that to our list here to create a process and a system for that?
Yeah, we can add that to the list. Actually, the sidebar idea is a great one. We can do that as well. So it's um like a static advertisement, just something that they will see when they visit the website. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Yep, and normally we would set that up, and we can actually, I don't need to do a site design demo, but we could do that live here and show you, but yeah, it's those are easy. So really, that's the easy process. The hard part is actually making the lead magnet. And again, I think everybody has a bunch of templates here. I have a bunch of content that we can do. I think we just need to determine, have one, I think just one good one per category. And then we can have that sidebar show up on that particular category or that lead magnet. So when they go to that page or when they go to that particular segment for, multimedia or whatever, when they go to that page, it'll have all the multimedia lead magnets on that page. So they're already interested in that and they see the lead magnet, that'll get them sucked in on that particular page. So I think that's a to-do item to just kind of come up with a, it doesn't have to be the same item per, sorry, I'm going to close some of these out here so I don't keep messing up the thing. The lead magnet is what we can just add another folder here for lead magnets, right? But and this is how easy this system is, but let's come up with a one good lead magnet per item. It could be an example script that just gets emailed to them. It could be an ebook. It could be the checklist or whatever. It doesn't have to be always an ebook. It could be a graphic, right, that they get. But let's come up with one lead magnet per thing that we can start to integrate into those sidebars or our own email marketing and stuff like that. And that's a good project to work on as well. And again, we can just put all the data in there, brainstorming or whatever. And then let me put on the to-do list. I'll start working the resource or the ebook processor site.
We have lots of examples of ebooks. And templates already.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how everybody does ebooks. Obviously, that one's probably the most versatile in terms of not everybody uses Canva for ebooks. They may be using a different system for design. Some people design it in PowerPoint and because I've got a bunch of those. Some people do it in Word. Some people do it in another online system or whatever. So that just gets one of those process things on how we're executing those, or maybe it just doesn't matter as long as they get the PDF version and anybody can do their own individual process because it's really the end product, not necessarily you do it in Canva, I do it in PowerPoint or whatever. It doesn't really matter that the PDF is the same, right? It just kind of comes down to the designs available and what it looks like and capabilities. So, but anyway, we'll work on that process for the delivery thing. We can do that entirely inside of BD with they send in a form. We get the lead, it goes into the BD system, and then they get sent to a page that has the PDF or the download or the image for them. So we can create all those inside of BD without using another system, but we'll look at to see what the best way to do that is. All right. So I think next order of business, Merville Man, just need to get a discussion on who needs to be in the financing. Everybody come up with your questions if you have for us or vice versa before that next meeting, and then we can kind of have that deep dive, and then we can kind of touch base again on any questions that come up from the team. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that internal to the team, and we can either set up a QA question on here, or we can set up an internal project actually inside of here. So I'm leaning more towards just making our own internal project in here. We just won't be a client project. We'll just call it directory VA build out or something like that. And then we can add in questions or tasks or whatever. You guys can add in stuff in here. That maybe that's a good way to get you guys into here and to do that. So I'll add in all the teammates here as well. I'll do this after the call here, so you don't see me clicking forever. And we'll just have that one in there for the directory VA, and you guys can go add in just questions in the tasks there. Just add a new task with a question, and then we'll kind of, I'll do that for you guys and vice versa, if that makes sense. And we can just kind of have that. That's I think a good way to keep track of all the questions and whether we've knocked everything out, answered everybody's questions. So if that's suitable for everybody, let's make an internal project. And then you'll be able to have that when you log in and add your questions and or answer from the team. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's really good that, because we're going through so much content so fast. So we know we have directoryva.com. We have the client venue.com, and we have the notes.
Oh, this one's not the way. It's actually app, and this is in the actual site here. This is that we have the white domain for that as well, but it's the app. So this is app.directory VA. This is just the www, the main site directory VA. And
Perfect.
Here,
so that they know, how many communication platforms we have. I think that's really.
Yep, and so they'll all be in here, but again,
Yeah.
they'll all, it's not, again, once you guys get in there, it's not this is the main site, this is the project
There's
site. It's not
directory courses and directory job.
Yeah. And so these are all in here detailed for you guys with links and stuff like that too. And again, once you get in there, it won't be that difficult.
Yeah.
And then the I think let me make
Can you
sure.
go to directory job? What are you using for directory job?
Let me
Nope.
just add a page here for general info here. Just
Yeah,
so.
I just want so that they're not overwhelmed. Nobody's overwhelmed.
Well, I think as long as you get, and this is why we have this site too, is that so you guys directory VA. So you guys can have all the notes there for that for anything that you want, and can get in there and not have any questions. Where to go? There we go. There's let's add the link. We'll do that for all the
Yeah,
all the
I think
different
they need that.
platforms there. I kind of had it. That's what I was trying to detail at the beginning there. I think that's app.directoryva, www.directoryva.
Just so we know, have it in one place.
Yeah. But I think everybody can get into here. I just have the managers in here for now, so I can get everybody else in there. I was going to ask. Oh, that was the other question I was going to ask you guys about that I went back to the directory for. Is we only have like 28 managers, but there's a ton of other VAs. So I just need to know who needs access to the main content here. If this is just the managers that are documenting all that stuff for people, or if it's everybody. I don't have everybody in here. There's only 30 of us in the project site. So I just need, and then I don't have anybody in the courses right now because I haven't got any of the info. So we just need to know who has access to what, or who needs it. And we can actually put that in the notes thing and make a spreadsheet in there on who has access, or who doesn't have access, or shouldn't have, or doesn't need, or whatever in there as well. But that's the other piece I need from you guys. Because if somebody can't get into somewhere that they need access to, we just need to get them access as appropriate. So.
All right, thanks for that, Ryan. We'll be finalizing the list of the members that will going to have the access for those folders.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Sounds good. And yeah, just ask if you have any questions on how to do stuff. But again, like Karen said, the best way to do that is really powerful and all this stuff. And I think it'll be easy for everybody to use. Just need to get in there and do it and start adding stuff, asking, and just ask questions in that new project I'm going to make. So. All All right, and then let us know what you're thinking about for Monday, the next meeting for the financial piece, and then we can kind of go from there.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I think that's a wrap.
All right. Thank
So,
you, Karen and Ryan.
There'll be one more
Karen and
contest.
Ryan.
I'm going to be posting one more logo contest up, and we'll start getting a little bit more content for the site. So thank you.
Thank
Can we also
you.
have the recording for this meeting, Ryan? I mean Karen, so that
Yes,
we can
yeah.
also review it. with
Definitely.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
you.
and we'll go ahead. I think the best way to, we can post in there, but it kind of gets lost in the traffic there, Karen. So let's go ahead and do let's go. We'll plan on putting a in the directory VA. We're just gonna do a new thing here for meeting recordings. How about that? And then we'll just post the link there if that makes sense.
Perfect.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Have a
Okay.
good day, everyone. A good sleep.
All right.
Good
Have a
night.
Have a good
weekend.
weekend, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Karen.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ryan.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Have a good day. Bye bye.